Hey, what's up guys? Mike here again. I wore my beanie specifically for Tony. Wanted to make sure I put that on this morning. But this is your guys' workout for Wednesday, 3/25/20. So today guys, we have some intervals that we're gonna be doing. That's kind of the idea here is that we're gonna be doing some more sprint work as opposed to kind of like the longer stuff that we've been seeing over the past few days. So again, we're gonna switch things up today. Today's gonna be a little bit more challenging, but it's good grunt work, okay? But for our warm-up today, what we're gonna start off with, guys, is we have a 2 to 3 minute jog. You're gonna see this pretty much every day, just as kind of a way for us to get ourselves prepped. It's an easy way for you guys to get yourselves moving, get some blood flow going, followed up by more of a specific warm-up to what you're gonna have for that day, okay? So again, 2 to 3 minute jog, guys. As always, feel free to hit some butt kickers, some high knees, things like that along the way. After that, you guys are then gonna come in, you guys are gonna do 3 total sets. You guys are gonna do 5 slow RDLs. Now you guys can use something for that. You don't necessarily have to. You can also just do toe touches if we have literally nothing to touch. But with that, guys, the way I like to kind of approach these is if we have a dumbbell, you guys can use just a lightweight dumbbell or something in front of you here. And then as we do this, we're gonna unlock the knees, really focus on pushing the hips back. As soon as we find tension, squeezing our butt and standing back up, okay? You guys can also hold the dumbbell here, like so. Same concept applies. Again, we push the hips back. The whole idea here, guys, is that we're not feeling this in our back, we're feeling it more in our glutes and our hamstrings as we do it. If you guys have access to a barbell, obviously you can do that with an empty bar. I would not recommend putting any weight on the barbell though for the sake of the RDLs, okay? Remember, we're trying to be slow down and explosive up. After that, you guys are gonna have 5 push-ups to down dog. Those push-ups to down dog, guys, we're just gonna kick this back. You guys are gonna pop down to the floor. You guys are gonna perform a push-up here, drive up, pushing ourselves into that down dog position. Feel a nice little stretch in the calves and the Achilles and that hip flexor as well. Just a good way to kind of get everything warm. After that, we have 10 puncher kicks. Our puncher kicks, guys, I'm gonna face the camera this way. If left foot comes up, left foot's gonna come across to our right hand, and vice versa for the total of 10 reps. So 5 on each leg. Just a good way, again, kind of getting the hips, hamstrings a little bit more. And then lastly, guys, we have 3 inchworm to cobra. Our inchworm to cobra, guys, I'll do this from a side angle, it'll be a little bit easier to see. We're gonna touch our toes. We're gonna walk our hands all the way out into a plank. Once we get there, we're then gonna get to about right here. So we're slightly behind, we're gonna press ourselves down and through, and up and extend, okay? From there, guys, push yourself back into down dog, and then just tiptoe your feet all the way up to those hands if you can. Guys, so again, you guys are gonna do 3 total sets of that. That's gonna be the warm up for today. All right, guys, so here is your workout for today. You guys have 4 3-minute AMRAPs, okay? 4 sets of 3-minute AMRAPs with 3 minutes of rest in between each one. So that means as many reps as possible, which we'll talk about there in a second, in the total of each 3-minute AMRAP. Okay, so the way this is gonna work is we're starting off, the only difference between the equipment track and the limited or no equipment track is that the amount of deadlifts is different. Okay, with a barbell, we're gonna do 20 deadlifts, followed up by a 200-meter run, and then we're gonna finish with max effort burpees. Okay, so in the remainder of that 3 minutes, you will do as many burpees as you possibly can in that 3-minute time gap, okay? With the limited and the no equipment track, we're just adding reps to that. So instead of 20 reps, it's gonna be 30. The reason for that, guys, is obviously with the barbell, we're gonna be lifting a little bit more weight, so we wanted to add in some extra additional reps to accumulate kind of that same amount of volume that someone with a barbell would have, okay? So that's kind of the reasoning behind that before I get yelled at. Now, that being said, guys, I want to cover the deadlift mainly because everything else is kind of pretty simple stuff. Not too much to be said about that, but there's something we can talk about with the deadlift regardless of what implement we're using to perform the deadlifts, okay? Now, with that barbell deadlift, guys, big thing I always look for when we talk about it is walking our shins nice and close to that bar, okay? From here, I personally like to have my feet a little bit more narrow. Helps me get my hip a little bit more involved. I feel it more in my hamstrings and less in my back. I know it sounds kind of counterintuitive, but trust me, it works. Again, feet underneath the hips, shins nice and close to that bar. From right here, guys, I always like to take a big breath here, make sure everything's nice and tight in that midline. But once I get hold of that bar, you guys can hold that bar under over here. You can hold it over like so. Doesn't matter either way, it's entirely up to you. But again, when we're in this position here, feet are nice and centered, so our weight is nice and centered in the foot. back is nice and tight. I'm gonna pull tension on that bar so you can kind of see those weights pick up just a little bit. And then from right there, guys, just thinking about pushing my feet through the floor, and then as soon as the bar passes my knees, squeezing my butt and standing. Okay, now as we come back down, we're really focusing on pushing the hips out of the way, and then as that bar passes the knees, we can sit back down into that rep again. Okay, so from the side, like I was saying, I set up, flatten the back, make sure as we drive up, I've got a neutral gaze, I push my feet through the floor, drive up, squeeze my butt, and stand. On the way down, guys, again, pushing the hips out of the way, just keeping the knees unlocked, and then once the bar passes the knees, then we can get back down to that same setup position we started in, okay? One thing we want to avoid as well, guys, is kind of overextending that upper back at the top, or the lower back, I'm sorry, at the top of these reps. Remember, you just need to stand up, squeeze your butt, shoulders can stay down in front, doesn't matter. We just want to stand up nice and straight, and then return the bar back down to the ground. Now, if we don't have a barbell, we can use a dumbbell, we can use a sandbag, however you guys want to do that there. But with the dumbbell, if we have a singular dumbbell, guys, what I'm gonna have you do is I'm actually gonna have you hold the dumbbell like this, okay, with a little bit wider of a stance actually. It'll allow us to kind of sit into it a little bit better this way. But again, up to you on that. If you have two dumbbells, you'll simply hold the dumbbells off to the side, really narrow up that stance at that point, and then drive down to the floor. Okay, so same concept as the barbell, just with two dumbbells, and you can touch the butt end of the dumbbell to the floor, and that's all you need. You don't need to touch both sides of that dumbbell, okay? But with this, again, feet are underneath the hips, maybe a tad wider than with the bar, but the nice part about this is we can actually, as we come down, we don't have to worry about those knees anymore. So it really allows us to keep that weight nice and centered in the foot, as opposed to having to be out in front of our body and still have weight back in the heels. So again, side angle, dumbbell is up to the front, feet underneath the hips, pushing the hips back, driving it up, and squeezing our butt. Okay, so you'll do 30 total reps of that if we have a dumbbell. If we don't have a dumbbell, we're going to use an odd object as well. For this, I have our sandbag again. And same concept, guys. You can hold this in a number of different positions, but for the sake of what we're doing today with the deadlift, I'm just going to hold it. I would hold it like so. So I can hold one end of this on this side, one end of the other. Again, same concept here, driving down, squeezing my butt, and standing up. Okay, so again, it's not perfect. It's not gonna be the exact same thing as a barbell, but it's gonna get us really close, which is all that matters. Again, guys, the deadlifts aren't really gonna be the meat and cheese of the workout sandwich today. The burpees are going to be, right? Because once we're done with these deads, we're then going on a 200-meter sprint. So if we don't have a gauge for distance, guys, just know that you should be running for about 45 seconds-ish to a minute at most, okay? So we wanna make sure that we have a good amount of time. I'm looking for like a minute and a half of burpees, okay? So again, let's try to get close to that. And if we need to accommodate, or if we need to scale things down a little bit to make sure that we have that, that's perfectly okay. All right, so again, guys, just run for roughly 30 to 45 seconds, somewhere around there. Sorry, not 30 seconds, but like 45 seconds to a minute, and then get into your burpees. All right, now the burpees, guys, just try to make sure we're getting all the way down, all the way up. One thing that I always like to talk about is how we land out of the burpee. So a lot of times when we see people jump up, we see them jump very narrow. I talked about this on a video a couple days ago, and people landing in their toes. It's just kind of hard on your knees. So again, whenever we do burpees, guys, try to think about just dropping down on the floor, nice and soft, and then as we drive up, we're just trying to focus on pressing up and landing that whole foot on the ground. There's nothing that says we can't jump out this wide, all right? So again, make sure we land in those heels. That way as we drive up, we can. And we're nice and balanced with that body, okay? So again, just make sure we're landing in those heels in the burpees, jumping up and clapping. Try not to do this little number right here as we come out, even though we all know that's what it's gonna look like. But again, guys, that is gonna be the workout for today. Again,